shoulder with extreme proportions, massive quad sweep, insane shoulder to shoulder, and he's got it all. I mean, this is a guy who is just loaded with muscle on top of muscle. The bodybuilding world has been waiting for him to put it together. And Sean, I'm going to let you break down what appears to be the most well-conditioned Big Ramy we've ever seen.
He showed up here at 305. You see him now at 295. He definitely dropped some water. Came all the way from Dubai. It's a very long trip. Training with the Camel crew out there at the Oxygen gyms under Beta Budai. Working with the legendary trainer Chris Cormier. The thighs are world class. They're huge. He wound up getting here. He won the Kuwaiti Pro Championship, and in doing so, he beat Dexter Jackson and Sean Rosen. However, he didn't beat them here last year.
All right, now let's break this thing down. This is an impressive Big Ramy. His fourth year in Uruguay. This is poised to move up the way he's looking. We're going to see how he compares. Criticize this physique for me. Tell me what's wrong with him.
I mean, the glaring weaknesses, the calves, obviously. He did tear his hamstring a year ago, so I know that he's lightened up on the hamstring work. You've got to be afraid to do that again. So I know he moved very cautiously because his quad is so dominant, so powerful, and those hamstrings are a little bit more delicate and fragile. The upper back and the shoulders and the arms, they're all there. You can see that. The lower back still needs a little bit of work, but it's coming.
Is this the best Big Ramy we've seen?
I'm going to reserve that until I see him standing next to the other guys. Right now, I've seen Ramy in person competing in several different competitions. Ramy's a very dangerous bodybuilder. Again, the only person he didn't beat last year was the reigning champion, and that was still he. He beat everyone else. And of course, Dexter Jackson beat everyone else. And Sean Rosen had a little bite of the apple. So this is going to be one of those things where we got to see them standing next to each other. Right now, Ramy is representing, and when I say big, you got to be out there standing next to this guy. He casts a very big shadow.
At the very least, this is the most confident Big Ramy we've ever seen. This is a different stage presence than we saw from the far more timid bodybuilders that graced the stage when he was first coming up. This is the guy who's starting to feel it. He knows what this process is all about. He's getting some swagger. Quite frankly, he has earned it as he looks to challenge Phil Heath tonight in Las Vegas.
And winning will do that. It will give you confidence that you never thought was there, and you start to get the feedback. Social media, the trainers, he's representing a country on his shoulders that he's bringing over here. The army of Oxygen Gym and the Camel crew are in his corner.
You're going to see a very different physique here when Gerald Williams walks out. That's a tough act to follow, but he's a 2017 California Pro Champ. He was also third at our good friend Chad Nichols' Mayhem show earlier this year. It was actually
الفيديو ده أفضل عضلات في العالم.
Team national champion. His arms are really his weakness and flaw. He looks like an athlete, a very, very tiny waist, but he doesn't have the Olympia arms. This is a show where you have to have those arms. He's a little bit slight. This contest is way out of his league, but he got here the way that everybody else has to get here, and that's by winning. Now, that being said, this Olympia experience will transpire to his next competition that he goes after for the paycheck. Being an Olympian is not an easy thing to do. He deserves to be here, but he's got a long way to go to actually be considered a threat. But we saw what Johnny Jackson did. He built a career 1 year at a time, and he's competing in his 13th Olympia. This is a young man. He's got a real job. He does a lot of real world stuff, and yet he found a way to qualify, pick the right show, and he's here.
Well, Sean, I got to tell you, it's a real thrill to be able to do this with you and call the action. You've obviously been on the Olympia stage many, many times, holding the distinction of being a top 5 finisher 12 years in a row. Nobody has ever done that. And it's a real sense of history that we're in. Have you along for the ride in the coverage feed. You always do a great job. Give us a sense for what this Olympia has become, because it's taken on so many different changes, so many different forms, and you kind of see it every step of the way.
It seems a lot more inclusive. I mean, when I was there, the top 10 guys, everybody seemed to have a bite of the apple. Everyone was a superstar. And here, you got a nice blend of veterans with Dexter and